Hello and welcome to another episode of Scavenger Life. This is episode number 374 at scavengerlife.com.
So we are wrapping up our New York vacation.
We're getting on the train in a couple hours.
Our urban vacation. And it seems like 2 weeks seems to be kind of the sweet spot before we start to really miss home for us.
And we always talk about going away for a month. Let's go away for a month. And then 2 weeks go by and I'm like, oh, I want to go home.
I mean, we were actually talking about that yesterday when we were just walking around our last kind of like walk in New York. And I don't know, I still feel like I like a month, especially if you go to somewhere it's never been. If we could get an apartment, go to a place we've never been and stay for a month, then you can really say like I live there.
Right.
2 weeks is good. But, I mean, it's just, we also just have a lot going on. 2 weeks we start being like, this thing needs to get done, this thing needs to get done. We're not retired.
Right. We have very active businesses.
Yeah. I need to get back and, get that renovation really into gear.
Exactly.
It's like organizing guys, and it's just like, I need to do sustained concentration on that,
Right.
But it's also good that we have a home that I miss.
Yeah.
I know there have been other times in my life where a lot of people, if you work a job, you go on a vacation it's normally they only will squeeze out a week at a time. Right. And last day of vacation, you're like, oh, I don't want to go home,
It's that feeling that you had in elementary school where you have to go back on Monday.
But
it's the same thing.
I'm excited to go home.
I'm excited. I am too.
A couple things I wanted to talk about, and this is actually from other people. I had these blog posts that I thought were kind of cool. One is from Frugal Woods.
Yeah.
We don't know these people, but I followed them. They're smart. They're like two youngish people. They lived in Boston and Cambridge.
Yep.
And they were these people who like just amazingly got together early in their 20s, and were like, we're going to save all of our money and retire early. And they actually did that, like I think they were in their early 30s, and they ended up having 2 kids. And so they bought a farm in Vermont.
Right.
And it's these like independents, the financial independence people where they're like, we're making pretty good cash. Let's save all of our cash. And now they just live off the interest of their cash,
which is extremely unusual.
Yeah,
for people to do that and to stay motivated to do it.
So she wrote a blog post just about how do you stay focused and motivated when you're working towards a long-term, big financial goal.
Right.
If you're like, this is going to take 10 years for us to accomplish, how do you stay on top of that? And I think like it's good for us too. I mean, we're not like we're trying to save up $500,000, but our long-term goals are like, how do we build a rental business with money from our eBay?
Right.
And she says things like research. So she spends a lot of her time just planning and researching and reading how other people do it.
Right.
And I know we do that. Like we read about design, and we're always, or at least I am, I'm always making a list after a list after a list.
I've seen them.
Of things we want to do.
List.
Yeah,
and so a lot of that time goes into research about how you want to do things.
Yep.
And like you said, seeing what other people do, being inspired by them. That takes time. That can take up your time, which is good,
Because, for us, and again, I can only speak in our experience, doing eBay was great because we could stop working for somebody else. But it quickly became clear to us that it was going to be something we hated if it's the only thing we did. You know? If, just selling old shoes on eBay was the only thing we were going to do, it was just going to feel like another crappy job that we made it for ourselves. So that's why we
have to have goals outside that.
Right.
That's the whole point of it,
Yep. And then just a couple other things. So she also talked about practicing gratitude. I'm really into that idea. To sometimes take a moment to be like, look how good we have it. You
Yeah.
know? It's not exactly what we want. We have all these big plans. We're planning for this, long-term thing, but we got it pretty good right now.
Exactly.
And some of the other things that like her readers were writing in about was just like taking breaks, like not always saving money or not always doing eBay,
Right.
dun 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 dun. It's like, that's why we're into having a big store, a big inventory, where we can say we're so tired of this. I'm about to burn out. Let's take 2 weeks off.
Right.
And not do anything with eBay.
And still be okay, not be like living paycheck to paycheck where you're like, we can't do that. Taking breaks is huge for me because I'm really bad at it. So, it helps to have a partner who's like, come on, let's go do this thing. Let's like give ourselves a break, and both of us can do that for each other.
And like something else is, we talk about being a frugal, like it's kind of a fun thing. It's like a pastime.
It's like
how do you get a good deal?
challenge.
Like, how do you get a good deal?
Well, it's so funny because I feel like there's so many people that don't think like that, or don't think it's fun, or don't even like think that to do that. They're just like, yeah, full price retail. What?
Right.
And for us, it's like a game.
Yeah. And
Totally a
it's
game.
exciting.
Every little penny.
However, sometimes it's nice to just treat ourselves.
Right.
And so that way, for other people, it's just a normal way of spending, like going out to eat every single day.
Yes.
Because we're so frugal, when we do treat ourselves, it's a treat.
It's special.
It feels like a treat.
Yeah.
Like yesterday, a big thing for me was I wanted to try the Impossible Burger.
Explain what that is.
There's a Silicon Valley company.
Yeah.
They've spent hundreds of millions of dollars developing a burger, a piece of meat
Right.
that's made out of vegetables. But if you look at it and taste it, you cannot tell it's not meat. Like, it bleeds like a hamburger.
It's
got
crazy.
a mouthfeel.
Yeah.
So we went to, and you can't buy it in a store yet. It's only in restaurants and only a certain ones.
Yeah, like there are no restaurants near us.
Because they're still trying to crank out the amount of burgers they can do. But anyway, so we went and treated ourselves. It was like $40 for like these two
burgers.
hamburgers and some fries. But it was so fun and it was so good.
And it was that whole adventure of like, well, which restaurant serves it? Who's open right now?
Right.
Do we have to make a reservation?
Right.
Like all that stuff.
But we would normally, it's never spend $40 on hamburgers.
2 hamburgers.
But it was fun.
Well, another thing too is we were at Patagonia, that outdoor store, and we were researching like travel clothes. And mostly what retailers hate is we were researching them to buy them online. We were like, what's this shirt called?
Yeah.
How much is it on
What's the
eBay?
brand? Yeah.
But I found a bag. It's like a purse travel bag thing. And I immediately was like, oh my God, this is my bag. Like, everything about it is
and
perfect
I remember
for me.
I walking in on you, and you were just kind of looking at it, and I was like,
Just buy it.
let's just buy it.
It was $60.
And we paid full retail price.
For me, $60 for like a nylon travel like courier bag. I'm just like, that's way too much money.
But it's a treat, and
I will use that thing for the rest of my life.
then
Probably.
it helps us just stay frugal for when we want to keep. I think we're going to still buy a couple more pieces of property, So
Right.
we have big plans, but you have to. It's balance between putting your nose to the grindstone and having some fun,
Yeah.
enjoying life. Okay, and then another blog post that I thought was interesting for scavengers, or at least it resonated to me. Our friend Mark
2.
TEW. We have interviewed him a couple times. He's an accountant.
Yes.
He worked for a company and was an accountant, and then he realized he didn't want to do that, so he now works for himself, and he mainly focuses on doing taxes for people that sell online.
Yeah.
Amazon and Etsy. And you can go to his website at notyourdadscpa.com.
Yes.
All these links we're talking about are going to be on the blog. But he was like, the 5 biggest is reseller tax myths. It's what are the things that people who sell online say that isn't true. And there's a lot of them. So number 1 is the home office deduction will put you on the IRS radar.
Ah, interesting.
I believe this.
I always thought that was true.
Even until recently, I've always been afraid when our accountant takes that deduction. I'm like, make sure we do it in a way where they don't think we're
deducting our entire
wrong.
house away or whatever.
And he says that these days that's not true. You know, I mean, of course, you can always go too far, but that is not an automatic. It's red flag.
Right.
The thing is, the home office deduction is only for part of your home that is dedicated to being in office.
Right.
So it can't be like your kid's bedroom that has some boxes of clothes in it. Like,
right.
That's not a home office.
And we know you would store stuff in your kid's bedroom.
Right.
Like you just said.
Why not?
God.
Hey, it's paying for his cereal.
That's right.
So, there's that. Another thing is, it's better to make it less money to avoid paying taxes.
Yes.
I hate this.
I know.
It happens more often than it should, where I will see people on the forum or in other places online where they're like, if you make too much money, it's going to put you up in a tax bracket that's too high, and you're going to pay more taxes. And people are like, I'm like, dude, it's a progressive tax in America.
Right.
So if you make up to whatever it is, $20,000, and if you make more than that, it puts you in a higher tax bracket, but you only pay the higher tax on over $20,000.
Right.
So anyway, it's to me it's so silly that people would not sell as much just because they think they're saving some money on taxes. If you make a lot of money, you'll probably pay more taxes, but that's a good thing because you've made a lot of money. You know. Anyway, the third thing is, and it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah.
If you don't, and this is like the most common thing I've heard online.
This is the most common from online sellers.
If you don't exceed $20,000 in sales, you don't have to pay income taxes or tell the IRS.
You do. You have to report everything.
Right, and this all comes from the fact that PayPal actually doesn't tell the IRS what your income is until you've hit $20K.
Is that still true? I thought that people got
1099.
1099s.
I mean, I guess someone would have to double check me, but I think that's the agreement that PayPal and eBay made. It's with the with the IRS. So that means that people are like, well, I'll make sure every a year they're like, oh, I just sold $19,000 of stuff, and like it's August. I'll just close my store down, and I won't sell anymore. It's just such, God, people are getting me so mad I say this, but it seems like it's really small-minded that you would not make more income just because you're trying to sneak away from taxes. Because number one is, if the IRS finds out that you're doing that, forget about it.
Oh, bad, horrible.
Again, the whole point is, if you're making money and having to pay taxes, that's a good thing. Yeah. Because it means you're making more money. Number 4, if you sell as a hobby, you don't have to pay taxes. So people are like, this is just a fun thing I'm doing.
It's not my full-time job.
Well, it's just, number 1 is you always have to pay taxes on any kind of income. Yeah. If you're making, $5,000, $8,000, people are like, oh, I'm just making like, $20,000. It's like, that's like a part-time job, Yeah,
like that's like significant.
And paying taxes helps us be a country. If you make under $400, you don't have to pay taxes. That I actually thought was true. I thought if you made under $400, you didn't have to pay taxes. But
under $400. Okay, but the truth is, if you make less than $400, you're not liable to pay self-employment tax. Okay, but if it's above that, I mean, you still have to report everything, whether it's $200, $400. But so probably it's self-employment tax starts after $400. I thought it was $700, but maybe it depends on where you are for state stuff. But yeah, exactly. Like you're supposed to report everything. The end.
I mean, trust me, we struggled. It's with all these things as we were just kind of like super scavengery. Yeah. When we first started, you're like, oh, it's all free cash, but then. I realized, no, I'm running a business. I need to treat it as a business. There's paperwork that needs to get done. Yeah. I have to file taxes. We're like, let's get a pro to do our taxes to help us through. We definitely pay taxes, self-employment taxes.
Yep.
And you're
That's
like, oh my God,
biggest
that's so much.
tax.
That's Social
Huge.
Security and is Medicare. And it's
Yep.
just, I guess it's difference between doing a business that's like, on top of things versus if you're like the guy who's selling out of the back of the
Right.
car at the flea market.
In cash.
Everything's cash.
On the weekend.
He just needs enough to pay for gas and buy some food that week. It's just a different world.
Right, exactly.
Okay, let's talk about eBay for us this week. We actually had a really good week, or it felt good.
Yeah.
Being away on the forum, someone was like, "Oh, I went out of town and I put my store on a vacation mode, but eBay is dinging me for
late shipping because they didn't change their handling time." So, as we always say, vacation mode does almost nothing.
Right.
You have to change your handling time.
Right. I mean, I don't blame anyone for being confused by this because
Right.
eBay doesn't make it clear. Just if you put your store in vacation mode, all it does is put a little tiny banner up top that says
you're away.
I will be away until such and such date, and I ship at that time. That's great, but for eBay, your shipping time is still whatever, same day, 3 day, it's whatever it normally is. And so if you don't follow those guidelines, they're going to be like, you're shipping late. So we learned a long time ago, just change your handling time. Right. We don't even put our store in vacation mode. We just change our handling time.
Right.
So the whole time we've been here for 2 weeks, we just change our handling time, and we've sold a bunch of stuff. And not one person has complained.
Right. Yeah, not one person has said, I need this right away.
Right.
So
we start with, we're going to be away for 10 business days because remember, business days, it doesn't include
the weekend.
Our weekends. And then as our trip goes, we're like,
well, the thing about eBay is it's 10 business for us for this trip, 10 business days, and you can't change it until it's 5 business days. You can't go one by one, so it's kind of annoying.
Yeah, I mean, as we've always said, and if anyone from eBay hears this,
yes,
we wish with handling time we could say
we're shipping on this date.
Right, we're going to ship on this date.
And it dynamically changes the handling time.
Yeah. But
instead of me being like, it's 10 days, and then I have to wait 5 days, it's 5, 4, 3, 2... same business day. Right. It's ridiculous.
But it's they're like, that's such a small use case.
But wouldn't it make so much sense?
Yep. We love to find things on the streets of New York. I feel like it's this year we didn't hit it hard and heavy. We were just taking walks. We weren't really there was only one day when we were like, let's walk and really find something.
And we didn't find anything that walk, and it was pouring rain like every other day.
But we found a lot of stuff just stumbling into it.
Right.
Like we found a huge box of clothes, men's clothes.
That was amazing.
That a guy had just laundered and folded. And we open up the box and we're like, there's all these great clothes in here.
Designer clothes.
Shoes, designer shoes.
This box, we were like, there's some clothes here. You just grab the box was falling apart. It was a pain in the butt.
Yep.
We were on our way to go somewhere. We brought the box with us.
And we're like, let's take it and go home. So we bring it home and we go through it. We donate half of it.
We donated half of it.
But then the other half is there's all these great clothes in here. It's so crazy.
Yeah, so we shipped those home, actually.
We were one night just we were walking around, and like any town, there's a real estate agent's office.
It's one of the big high-end real estate
And on the
agents.
window, there's all the listings, and I love to look. I'm like, oh, this townhouse only $6 million. That's
what a deal!
That's a really good deal in Manhattan. It's in a great place. And I turn around and you're going through the trash. And I guess a real estate agent had thrown away a box, and it was a brand new piece to an expensive copy.
Right. So what was interesting was what caught my eye was a pristine cardboard box that had never been opened. You could tell it was still taped shut, and it had model numbers for a copier. And it was in the recycling. It was in the cardboard recycling. But I was like, this feels heavy. So I opened up the recycling bag, and we were like, we don't know what this is, but we're bringing it home and we'll open it up. So we brought it home, and it was, like you said, it's for an expensive photocopier machine. It's a piece that goes in there that clearly they didn't need it's a over $400 piece of equipment
Brand
that
new
they
in the
never
box.
opened and just put it in the garbage.
Yep.
It's like, well, I'm definitely bringing this home.
And so, the way we do it, we learned actually in Austin a couple of years ago, maybe 8 years ago. We now just ship everything home.
We just ship it home.
So we find boxes on the streets, we bring tape, we tape everything up, and so we've mailed 4 or 5 boxes.
6 boxes. We shipped 6 boxes home. Now, it wasn't only stuff we found on the street. We went shopping. We can talk about, we shopped at West Elm, like their discount section. Yep. Super shopped them. So,
yep. But we haven't really been scavenging in stores. We kind of just weren't into it,
I don't know. Like, we hadn't really... It's like we wanted to find stuff in the garbage.
Yeah, we're on vacation.
Yeah.
I will say, so a week ago, I was talking about people that are coming new to eBay. They're often older. They've had a job their whole its life, and either because they've been, laid off from work, or they're trying to find a change of pace, they come to eBay. We're talking on a forum that oftentimes the older people that come from like the corporate world often want to bring their bad habits, and we were just talking about that. It was so great. One guy was just like, yeah, it's good to come to eBay with just like fresh eyes. Like, don't bring corporate speak, corporate world to eBay. Treat it like it's something fresh and do it in a way that makes sense for eBay. And, people can argue it's with that and all that, but I find like it just goes back to our idea of what we're trying to talk about keeping it simple.
Right. Well, I always say we're just trying to keep it scrappy in a way. It was like, that's what we always try to do still, have done since the beginning, is like, just do it. Like, don't, like the last podcast, don't make it complicated.
Yeah, I mean,
just get started and
right. Like, I'm not saying all that experience from a job like in a corporate world
that it's a bad
thing. But it's kind of like get started simply and then bring in all that experience.
Right.
As it.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes sense.
It's like, I was talking to actually my brother about putting some photography stuff on Etsy and on eBay, but I don't think he's going to do eBay. And man, I've been talking about it since we got here, and he just hasn't done it yet.
Right.
And it's just, how do I do it? What should I choose? What sizes? Should there be limited prints?
How am I going to brand it?
Just et cetera, et cetera. And I'm just like...
I need a marketing strategy.
I'm like, just put stuff online. Yeah. Like, you can talk about it. And it's like, but that's the beautiful thing about putting stuff online. Put it online, and then go from there.
Right.
Just go from there.
Yep.
So...
Sell one thing.
And
then, you know what? Sell another thing. Okay, let's talk about our numbers for the week. So, on vacation, not at home.
Extended handling time.
We sold 48 items for about $1,900.
I love that number.
Amazing. I love
it. I want that number all the time.
Yeah.
No second store. We are just talking about our one. We do not have a second store any longer.
That's right. We only have a single big, gigantic store with like 8,000 items in it now.
It's fine.
So.
Let's just keep it simple.
Yeah. I mean, things we sold, like the big thing we sold was a piece of furniture. We sold like a vintage chair, like a lounger.
Yeah. How much did you pay for that chair originally?
90.
I want to say 90. And we had it in our rental for years and years.
Right.
So many years.
Years and years.
Like 2 years or whatever. And then we decided we want something different in there. And we were like, let's just put it on eBay. And I had it up for really high, $1,200.
It's like a mid-century modern chair.
It is a true mid-century lounger. And I took it out for $450.
Yep.
I'm happy with $450.
Yeah, I mean,
thrilled.
And it's a local pickup, so someone has to come and pick it up.
Yeah.
I think furniture, I really love to buy and sell furniture because oftentimes you can buy it so cheap, and it's great when it does sell, but it's probably easier to sell furniture if you live in an urban area.
Yeah.
I just think because we're so far out.
Yeah, because like the density of an urban area, people are looking for that stuff. They don't mind coming over. You live 5 miles away. For us, it's like everyone's like,
And we talked about selling a piece of furniture, and we shipped it on the Greyhound.
Yep, and he got it.
And that worked. He was happy. But, then, like, things like a chair, I don't think we could fit that underneath the... I don't know.
Not this chair in particular. I mean, I think you could.
Yeah.
But...
But this is kind of a bulky,
it's kind of a weird, crazy size, but... Yeah.
But it's just,
I would try it.
A fun thing to sell.
Yeah.
I will say, so we talked about going to an auction 3 weeks ago or something.
4 weeks ago.
And I went all in on pottery.
Pottery?
It was like an auction where the person that died or whatever, their house, they just had so much ceramics and pottery. And that's just what had been there for sale. So I was like, let's go. And I bought tables and tables of the stuff.
Yep.
And we were a little worried, a little bit. We spent, $600 on pottery.
No, it wasn't. Yeah, okay. It was about that. But we bought some artwork and other stuff, too. There was miscellaneous stuff.
It was like
on the
pottery,
table,
art, but, that
mostly
part of the
pottery.
auction was about $600. And I was like, we do sell this stuff, but are we going to be able to make our money back? And
I've been listing it this week, too, while we've been here.
This week, we sold $250
worth of that pottery. So, there were things that I listed that I was like, I don't really know what this is. It's okay. It's not something super special. And it sold overnight. And
yeah,
like, great.
Little tiny, like a creamer for $80. Or, a plate.
A plate.
$60,
Because it's high-end brands. But I also, so I will say this, I was also trying to price more reasonably because we have so much of this stuff that I'm like, I'll just do a better price so that it can move quicker. So I'm hoping that.
So, we only sold maybe 5 pieces and we made $250.
We have so much more.
Hundreds of pieces. So
yeah.
It really is the long game. It is a list it and forget it. It's, front load our store, and then you make that pipeline where things will just sell.
Exactly.
Okay, Scavenger of the week. We talked about some about being on the street, but the best thing is, we've learned we love to go to this store called West Elm.
Yeah, West Elm is a furniture and curtains and lighting.
It's like a lifestyle store.
It's like a buy stuff for your house kind of store.
It's not like super when we first found out, I was like, man, this store is super fancy. Now I know
it's not super fancy.
It's like
it is overpriced, but it's
it's like it's you're a professional. It's you move somewhere, get an apartment, and you're like, let me just buy my whole life here.
Exactly,
like Pier 1, Crate and Barrel. But anyway, so we learned that at this one specific New York store, they have a discount area.
Yeah, they have a discount sale section, and what's amazing, sometimes, this is the time it was happening, they discount their sale section. They have a sign where they're like, it's 20% off the discounted prices, and you're like,
it's like, this is the stuff they're trying to get.
They're just like, get this stuff
So
out.
we took a rolling cart over there, and we're like, let's shop. And we're shopping for stuff to put in our next rental.
Right.
And we bought, I don't know how interesting this is going to be for people, but it's amazing to us. These curtains.
Okay, so let's talk about curtains real quick. You can make curtains out of fabric. It's not hard. Well, it's a pain in the butt, but you can do it if you have a sewing machine. But you still have to buy the fabric. It's expensive. So curtains that are already made, that are ready to go, and are nice quality and of good material are expensive. They had these curtains. They were cotton linen blend, blackout curtains. So they have a lining on the inside so that if you put them on the window, light does not come through them. They were 96 by 96 panels. Those are huge. For $30.
Yep.
We were like, we're buying all of these.
So we
even
bought
if we have to sell some.
A bunch at first, and then we went back the next day and bought them out. Because we're like, we'll use some of them, and we'll put the other ones on eBay, and we'll probably pay for our whole thing.
All of them.
We bought these nice wool pillows. We bought a wool rug for $80. So we're like walking down the streets of Manhattan, and it's
loaded
hot.
down. Jay
It's
carried.
steaming.
Okay, let me talk about the rug, because for anybody who's like a rug nerd, because we sell rugs and we use a lot of rugs too. So this rug, it's a 5x8 wool rug, right? It came with the underlayment pad for free, which is crazy. And she rang it up and the original price came up and it was $400. I was like, oh God, I hope this is actually on sale. She's like, yep. So she fixed it and she's like, it's $80. I was like, oh my God.
Yep. And
we shipped that home.
We just packed it up and shipped it home.
You know what I found? Sorry, shipping nerds, you'll appreciate this. So something I found on the street was this huge roll of black Tyvek. It's just a roll of Tyvek, which is like a plastic fibrous like coating that you can. So I wrapped the rug up in this black Tyvek. I was like, that could not have been perfect. More perfect.
Bulletproof.
Yeah, it was. Jay was funny. He's like, I don't want to like be a jerk and ask this really because I don't know about shipping, but is wrapping it in Tyvek going to be okay? I'm like, trust me.
Don't even worry.
Like Tyvek, you cannot even rip it with your hands. You can, but
and really, if we lived here, anyone that lives in Manhattan, and if you sell on eBay, it just seems like you would never need to buy shipping supplies.
You just go outside and walk around and get some.
I mean, we were walking around. There's like big clear trash bags of like packing peanuts.
Oh, last night. Oh man,
double walled boxes. Just every day, it's just oh my God.
Like it was too many. Like we would walk down the street and be like, "Oh, that's a great box." Well, let's just look for a box on the way home because we don't want to carry it with us. It's like no problem.
Just talk about the abundance.
Just so incredible. Much, yeah.
Okay, no customer issues. Mainly probably because we aren't
haven't shipped anything yet. What is our coming week like when we get home? I wanna start. Because I will say what I have to do tomorrow. Well, obviously I have to pack. I have like 70 items to pack, which is awesome. Great. But we have people who have contacted us through Craigslist to buy some furniture that I have on there for Sunday, which is awesome because they're willing to wait. So tomorrow I'm selling like 2 big things on Craigslist. Thank God.
Yep.
So that's the start of my week, thank goodness.
And you have to pack 70 items.
I have to pack 70 items. I will pack them all day tomorrow, which is Sunday, and then Monday.
Yep.
I want to get them out Monday, but I might just have to drive into, you know, in the evening.
As long as they're at the post office and scanned by whatever it
Monday
is,
night.
4 o'clock, 6 o'clock. Yeah. And for me, like I said earlier, it's about it's a renovation project on this building.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, for us as scavengers, instead of like hiring a designer and an architect to like give us all the plans to like make the building look nice, we do it ourselves. We are our own designers, we're our own contractors.
Yeah.
And part of it is like when we're walking around town here, we're like looking at buildings.
Yeah, I'm taking
and we're
pictures
looking at
of stuff.
storefronts and restaurants and other places, and we're like, how did they do it? And we're like taking pictures. We're like writing down ideas.
Yeah.
We're talking about it, and I feel like for us it takes time to have a vision of what to do. But I feel like we have enough now of what we want to do to that building where I need to get back and start getting on the phone
and scheduling people.
Start calling guys.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
It's about wrangling
Yep.
craftsmen, contractors to come out and start doing stuff, and I'm really excited about that.
Yep,
you know?
You're really good at that. I hate doing that stuff, so I'll do other stuff.
Yep.
So you're good at that.
You're in charge of talking to the town and the county to make sure we have the right permits.
I am fine.
Stuff.
Like, I have no problem. Like, paperwork and, like, figuring that stuff out, I'm, like, totally fine.
Yep.
You know, calling dudes and being like, come look at this. I'll meet you there. I'm just like, ugh.
So it's like the middle of August, so between now and Christmas time, so like 4 months.
Yeah.
We'll see how much I can get done on that building.
Right.
You know?
Do as much as possible.
It's exciting.
Okay, let's answer questions. We have one single voicemail this week. You can call our voicemail number. The phone number is 540-407-8486, or you can email us an audio file from your phone. And our email is thescavengerlife@gmail.com.
Hello, this is Kat. I have a question, and I had a frustrating experience, or found out something frustrating today, and I was hoping you guys would have an answer or know about it. Maybe it's something I just didn't know, and, you know, it's my own fault, but I had, you know, more than 100 listings, drafts, waiting for photographs. Everything else was done. I just needed to take the photographs and was procrastinating. And some of the listings were from June that I had created, some of the drafts. And last night they were there, and this morning half of them were gone. And I called eBay, and they pointed me to somewhere on the website that said that drafts can only be saved for 45 days, and then they disappear. Then they're purged or something. And I heard you talk about photographs disappearing off of drafts, but not the actual drafts disappearing. And I wondered, is this something new that we just didn't know about, or has this been there the whole time and I just didn't know about it and it's my own darn fault? So I'm hoping you guys know. I really appreciate the show and all the information I get. So thanks very much. Bye-bye.
Yes. So I have never heard of drafts actually disappearing, but I have obviously experienced, I've talked about it before, photos disappearing on drafts after about 25 days. So that's why we love moving everything to scheduled. Like, just get it out of drafts, put it in scheduled.
Right, and that means that you have kind of a countdown.
You have like a 2-week countdown.
It's a 2-week is the farthest out that you can schedule.
You can change it, though, if you're like, I want to schedule another week ahead. You can do that as time goes by, but I try to just list that stuff. You cannot let it build up.
Now, I don't know this for sure, but I've heard rumors that eBay will only allow you a certain number of drafts. So I think I have heard people say they started to do drafts, and after whatever it is, 50. I don't know if that's the right number. They start erasing your older ones.
It could be. That's a very good theory, actually.
But yeah, so it's for us. It's about scheduled listings. It means we actually have to still stay on top of it.
Yes.
This idea that we can do a draft and 6 months later
go back.
That's probably not a good strategy. You know?
Yeah, and look, it sounds like it's a pain for you. It was a pain for me. And so that's why we love that, like, a fellow scavenger, Vic, told us about scheduled listings.
Yep.
Because I didn't understand what that was. I never heard of it. I didn't know it was possible. And it's a huge part of our workflow now, where our helpers or us, you make 10 drafts, you take the photos, you do the titles, blah, 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 and you say, okay, schedule this from 2 weeks from now. It says it's going to charge you 10 cents, but if it doesn't auto list itself, you can change that and say, okay, now list it now, not in 2 weeks.
So, right, and so we're not...
So you don't pay that 10 cents, listing.
I mean, it is too bad. I mean, eBay should just allow people to have a draft in multiples for as long as
I don't understand why.
But again, like we've always said, we always feel like we're having to kind of hack eBay to do what we want it to do.
And so far, scheduled has been very, very good. But yeah, also, look, just do what makes sense for you. If you have to do 10 at a time, 20 at a time, don't do 150 drafts. Like, that stuff is like a death pile. It's like a digital death pile.
Yeah,
what I mean?
Do like 20 at a time. Like,
right.
Make sure they get done and are listed before you do another 20. Because that is a nightmare if you were to take pictures of 100 things in a draft and go back and be like, oh my God, I just lost
100. I mean, it's just right. Because
and then you have to pull them out of inventory again to retake photos.
When I lost photos with drafts, I think I lost. It was like between 80 and 100 items of photos.
Wow.
What a nightmare.
Yep.
It was a nightmare.
But Ryan, all lessons
are expensive. And Jay needs a friggin' t-shirt. Yep. All lessons are expensive.
That's when I'm in a guru mode. So we obviously have never done that again, and it taught us well.
I'm gonna make a book. I'm gonna write a book, and it's gonna be called Rich Jay, Poor Jay.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, let's get to the rich part first. Okay, that's it.
That's it. You can check out our blog at scavengerlife.com for the links we discussed and to join the conversation on the forum. You can leave a question or a comment on our voicemail line. The phone number is 540-407-8486. We post an episode every Monday morning. On Wednesday, we post a What Sells video showing what sold, currently being brought to you by Steven Schultz. You can subscribe to our Patreon account. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month, which is $12 a year. And you can help support us and help pay for our server costs. You can subscribe to us through iTunes or YouTube for free, so you always get the latest episode. You can buy our archive of 5 years worth of podcasts. It's almost 400 episodes. That's on our sidebar, just to download all. We're ending this podcast in 3, 2, 1. Bye.